Put your car in the garage and bolt the door. Albuquerque still has one of the worst auto theft rates in the nation. Two especially clever crooks ran a ring here that converted hot cars into cold cash for years, victimizing more people than we will ever know. And even though that gang has been smashed, others are doing the same thing. Here's News 13 investigative reporter Larry Barker.
Bottom line, if somebody wants your vehicle, they're going to take it, period.
Potentially there's 100 victims out there right now not knowing they're driving a VIN switch stolen.
It is a very big deal, and the unrecovered auto theft rate in New Mexico is one of the highest in the country.
To the casual observer, it looks like a rundown auto body repair shop, but don't let this cluttered eyesore along Albuquerque's East Central Avenue deceive you. This car lot is ground zero for a secret criminal enterprise that took in hundreds of thousands of dollars. The brains behind this operation, Anjem Tahir and Bobak Sabirin. Tahir and Sabirin were master criminals, credited with organizing one of the largest and most sophisticated auto theft rings in New Mexico history. Now retired APD auto theft detective Tim Fassler led the investigation. As auto thieves go, how good were these guys?
These guys were great. The work that they did, unless you were a trained professional, you would not pick up that these were stolen vehicles.
They operated under the guise of an auto body repair shop, but don't be fooled by the seeming disorganized clutter. It's all part of the deception. The reality is clandestine and illegal. This lot was crammed full with stolen cars and trucks, burglar tools, and pilfered car titles. The inventory of pirated merchandise reads like a who's who of the used car world. Lexus, Ford, Toyota, BMW. They stole high-dollar luxury cars, SUVs, and pickups. These guys were not your run-of-the-mill, down-and-out joyriding car thieves. After all, anyone with a little bit of knowledge can steal a car. Tahir and Sabirin were different. They were experts at not only disguising stolen cars, but covering up their crimes as well. They operated for years and may very well be responsible for hundreds of organized car thefts throughout the Albuquerque area.
And the simplicity of it was just incredible how they did it and got away with it for an extended period of time without anybody picking up on it.
The secret to their success? Junked cars.
300, take the number to 3 now, go number to 325.
Now, Tahir and Sabirin were not weekend hobbyists who like to fix up old cars. However, the pair were frequent customers at insurance auto auctions where they would routinely buy worn-out, junked vehicles. They weren't after the scrap metal or the parts. No, when Tahir and Sabirin bought a crumpled 2-ton chassis from the auction, the only thing they wanted was the title and this little metal plate called the VIN. It's the vehicle identification number found on the dash. For example, the thieves stole this Dodge Charger from a residence in the Heights. 2 weeks later, they went to the insurance auto auction and bought this wrecked Charger for $700. They then put the VIN from the salvage car on the stolen Dodge to disguise its identity and peddled the hot vehicle for 11 grand. Tahir and Sabirin stole this $30,000 Hummer and then disguised its identity using ID numbers from this salvaged Hummer totaled in a rollover accident. And the identity of this $14,000 stolen BMW was covered up by the ID plates from this trashed out BMW the Gang of Thieves picked up at an insurance auto auction for $1,200. Sandy Blaylock is with the New Mexico Recyclers Association.
The value of a salvage vehicle to an auto thief is that they pay a very small amount for that vehicle. They usually tend to try to buy the very heavily damaged vehicles that really only have a value as far as scrap value. They go out and steal a vehicle of like kind and quality and change all the identification of that vehicle, and basically the net gains pretty substantial.
The identity of the total crashed car would be switched to the stolen car, and then it would be sold to the public. Let's say you bought the salvage for $300. You get a similar vehicle, switch the VIN numbers on it, and you sell it to the public, in one case $6,000 cash. That's a whole lot of profit for very little bit of work.
Tahir and Sabirin hawk their stolen merchandise from vacant lots and street corners throughout the Albuquerque area. Police believe the pair may be responsible for peddling more than 100 stolen cars and trucks to unsuspecting victims over several years. But Tahir and Sabirin's vast criminal empire unraveled one fall day when a member of the gang got careless and was caught stealing a Lexus out of someone's driveway. The next day, detectives raided 2 East Central body shops connected to the Gang of Thieves. Matt Morales is a longtime auto theft detective.
It looked like from the street, it looked like a traditional body shop. But when you got behind the scenes, that's when you found the VIN switch stolen cars, junk cars like this with their VIN plates removed, the twin sitting right next to it, which is the stolen car.
Detectives recovered almost 30 stolen cars and dozens of partially dismantled salvage vehicles. It took almost 3 days to catalog it all. Some vehicles were seized from victims who unknowingly bought stolen cars from Tahir and Sabirin on street corners and vacant lots.
And at that point, now there's the tiers. Who are they going to go after? They bought it from the street corner, no idea how to track that person down, and they're out whatever money they put into that car.
Tim Fassler remembers one victim, an elderly widow.
This poor woman began to cry that she paid $6,000 cash for it. She was alone, and I just felt for her because I have to do what I have to do too. I have to take that vehicle back, and the best that we can do is prosecute the people who did this to her.
Today, Anjem Tahir and Bobak Sabirin are behind bars serving lengthy prison sentences. But even though these guys are off the street, be warned, there's a truckload of clever crooks out there to take their place.
Do you think there are auto thieves out there doing the exact same thing that these guys were doing 3-4 years ago?
Absolutely. They're all over the state of New Mexico, and we have a high concentration of them right in the Albuquerque area.
Larry Barker, KRQE News 13.
The pair of convicted car thieves did not respond to our request for interviews.